In this video, we're going to look at using automation to make your life easier when you're doing fuzzing and reverse engineering. So in this video, I want to go over a pretty simple Python script that I wrote to fuzz the vulnerable server, which we've talked about in previous videos. The first thing I have in my script is a special comment where you have a hash or pound symbol followed by an exclamation point. Some people will say that this is a pound bang, hash bang, she bang. And by the way, this has to be on the very first line. So if you have one of these special comments, the very thing after it gets run. And this lets you run lots of things directly. For example, this Python script, if you didn't have this comment, you would have to type Python and then the name of the script in order to run it. So the first thing I do is I import a library, the socket library. That's Python's way of getting a library loaded. And then I set a IP address and a port number that correspond to my vulnerable server. Now, I'm already running this machine. I haven't started vulnserve yet, but I can check and verify that my IP address is what I expect. It's actually 102. I can go back to my editor and I can change that. So I'm going to go ahead and update that and say that today that machine is at address 102. I could optionally take this as a parameter to my script, but sometimes it's easiest just to hard code a few things. And here's the port. The command that I'm going to send is gmon /:/ and then a bunch of other stuff. Now, the other thing that I've done here is I've given it a list of commands. So I will go through this list and try to exploit each command in turn. Now, I've just set it up so that I can exploit Gmon first because I know it's vulnerable. And I thought that you might want to see how you could just say, all right, here's all the commands. Let me try all of them in a nice automated way. The next thing that I have is an increment. So I am going to start at the increment length, and I'm just going to build up from there until I get to a maximum length. And the maximum length that I have set is 5,000 characters. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a socket, and that's this funny looking call, s equals socket socket. And then you have to tell it what kind of a socket it is. So it's socket.afinet. That basically means you want to use TCP IP. And here it's a stream socket. I connect to the socket. So I've connected to my vuln server. And now I say for command in commands. So this is a loop that's going to go over this list. To make a list in Python is pretty simple. You just put stuff in parentheses separated by commas. And then for I in the range of increment to max length. And I'm going to step by increment. That's what this means. So by the way, in Python, max length -1 would be the upper bound. And I'm going to send my command plus IAs. And then I will print, I'm testing %s. %s is going to be the command with a length of this, a length of I. Then I have a try catch block here. Try is a statement that you can use. Those of you that have used C++ or Java should be familiar with the idea of exceptions. So you try something dangerous that might throw an exception. So the dangerous thing I'm going to do is first, I'm going to try to receive data that would eventually time out or throw an exception if the thing had crashed. So if there is an exception, print out this message and exit. If I got nothing back, if this receive command returned nothing, that tells me that the program has crashed as well. So if that's the case, I also say, okay, it crashed, and I exit. So let's see how this looks if we run it. So I'll go ahead and bring up a command prompt. So here's my command prompt. I will change to the appropriate directory. Now, one thing I should mention, you do an ls-l, you can see if the permissions are set correctly, and it's set to executable. If you write your own script, you might have to do a change mode plus X, and then the name of your script, run fuzz.py, and off it goes. And very quickly, it found a problem. So it just tested it with various linked commands, and it found that it linked 4,000. That was enough to crash it. So there you have it. I think you get the basic idea. You can obviously expand on this in your own scripts. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll show you some more automation techniques.